we're doing narrative therapy. I just wanted to introduce what it was quickly before we started. So this is to help the client find hope in life using both negative and positive stories. And it converts problem-saturated stories into positive ones. It also encourages the use of positive stories in their day-to-day life. So with narrative therapy, there's specific language you want to use. You want to be more casual to kind of keep a rapport almost with your clients. And you want to start with their preferred story and slowly work your way to a positive one. You're going to start first with externalizing the conversation. So this is naming the problem and separating the problem from the person. So for this one, we did the letters. So last week, I asked the two clients to write letters to their situation. This is a substance abuse group. So you guys wrote your letters from last week. Did you give your problem a name?
Yes.
Okay, what did you name it?
I named it Crash.
Crash. Did you name yours?
Remorse.
Okay. Did you want to share those letters with the group?
Dear Crash, there's a saying that the hardest thing to do in life is to say goodbye. This includes all relationships and my relationship with you. We have been through a lot together. This started off with plenty of happy moments, like the first time I experienced getting high with you. There came a point where I thought I would never have to be apart from you. I never thought you would, now it's time to say goodbye. When you first came into my life, I believed that you would help me ease all my pain I was going through. I thought my traumatic childhood experiences could disappear thanks to you. I also thought you could ease many of my struggles of my present. This includes issues I have with my personal and professional life. I believe that the more I poured into you, the less I would have to worry about my other problems. For a while, everything seemed fine. We had a great relationship, and you did exactly that. Eventually, I realized it was wrong. Things started to change. You became the hardest relationship I ever experienced. You started to take more than you gave. In fact, you stopped giving at all. You took almost everything away from me. You took away my job, my family members, my friends. Eventually, you took everything from me. You told me as long as I could control everything in my life, everything would be okay. How wrong I was. It has become clear that everything is not okay, and in order for that to be, I need to let you go. You have become incredibly cruel. You are a tremendous liar. You are the best thief. You are an evil master. There are plenty of times that I believe things would start to look up. I was starting to crawl away from your evil clutches. It turns out that you are also vindictive, as you did everything in your power to pull me right back in. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get away from you. All I wanted to do was make changes in my life that would be for the better. I wanted to become a better person. There was even a part of me that believed I could become a better person with you. Sadly, you are unwilling to share. You constantly blocked me from doing any of the things I wanted to do. In that sense, you quickly became my worst nightmare. Because of you, I ended up doing the things I never would in a million years. You turned me into what I hated more than anything else. You robbed me of my independence and my freedom. You changed me. Without you, I am stronger. Without you, I am accomplishing more than I ever have. Without you, I'm returning to the life and people I once loved because I know they still love me. To you, Crash, this is a goodbye. I never want to see you again. I am moving forward.
Okay. And before you read that letter, how was your emotional standing when you came in today? 1 being completely fine, or 10 being your substance abuse consumed your life?
Before I came in, my substance abuse would have been at a 10.
Okay. How do you feel after reading your letter?
I feel better reading what Crash has taken from me and what I can now do without it in my life.
Okay. How about you? How are you feeling right now before you read your letter?
I'm feeling, definitely a 9 or a 10. My person. My remorse has just taken a hold of who I am, and all of my family members and my daughter, it has really kind of grabbed onto me and won't let go.
Okay, would you like to share your letter?
Sure. Dear remorse, the change from 2017 to now only comes up every once in a while. Medication, therapy has all changed me, but you won't not just stick around. I learned to take care of myself. I put myself first and my daughter first. I grew into a more confident, happy person without you. I wouldn't be where I am if I was still you. I'm ready to say goodbye to remorse. I'm using coping skills, being with my friends, being with my daughter, being with my family, to continue my happiness. Today I'm going to say goodbye to you as you are not owning me anymore.
How do you feel after you shared that with us?
It definitely makes me feel better to be able to truly externalize it and take away that I'm not the problem is the problem, and yeah, it really makes me focus on better things to come.
So what you do with your letters after this point is up to you. You could rip it up, you could pretend to mail it out, you could keep it for later to reread. Does anyone have any preference to what you do with it?
I will definitely look back at this letter to see how much I've grown. So I will definitely keep it and save it for later.
I also want to keep my letter, to read it to when I'm feeling down, so I know if I do turn back to Crash, what it will take from me. And it'll also show me how much I've grown since Crash has been a part of my life.
Okay. And from what you've both said, you feel slightly better after vocalizing your concerns and your issues with your named problems. Would you continue doing this? Possibly be open to writing one again for next session or coming back?
Yeah, I definitely think there's many other things in my life, many other different issues that I can write letters to say goodbye to them.
I agree. Could also write and name my problems, externalizing them instead of keeping them inside. Really could help me in a lot of ways.
This is our second session. We found
We met with Rebecca.
Rebecca. Thank you for coming. So this is unique outcomes. So this technique involves changing one's storyline. It can be very complex, but it's very vital in narrative therapy. So this is where the client aims to construct their experiences into a more meaningful, positive, functional identity of themselves. This is not about thinking positively, but it's a way to broaden your view and focus on things that are not your most perversive problem. This may sound like you're avoiding the problem, however, you are just reimagining the problem. Unique outcomes don't have to be huge, but it has to be somewhat meaningful to yourself. So, I want to encourage you to pursue new storylines. So like I asked before, can you imagine a time in the future when you have completed all of your goals, and can you speak on what those goals would be?
So as I was saying before, since I am still newer to this, I'm optimistic about completing these counseling sessions. I'm hoping to obviously be recovered from using substance abuse. I can see that happening. Obviously I know that's the long run. So goals, what's happening? I plan on continuing to come to these meetings. Like, that was your last meeting, and I thought it was very helpful. I have been sober since then.
Good.
Since that meeting.
Good.
Sober now.
That's great. That's great.
Getting
Good,
there.
good. Do you see a future where you can complete all these goals? And what are those goals that you would like to complete?
I do see a future where I have my goals completed. I currently live in sober living, so one of my goals is getting out of that and getting into an apartment or my own house. I would like to see myself in a reliable job. What that is, I don't know, but it's something I can see myself doing. And I also would like to get custody back of my daughter. I was recently released from jail, and when I was taken into custody, she was taken from me. And so that is one of my goals I hope to achieve later down the line.
Great. So how can you manage your current issue to get yourself to these goals?
I think maintaining my healthy support system. Now that they are back in the picture after I started going to these therapy sessions, continue going to these meetings. I have started looking into other meetings that I could possibly join with other theories to see which one suits me best.
And how do you see yourself managing your substance use?
So the same thing, going to support groups when I feel it's needed, knowing where my local support groups are and reaching out when I need help, and also staying away from risky situations. I should not go back to the friends I was using with. I should not go back to my ex. I need to stay away from all of them if I want to stay sober.
Yes, that's very important. So when you guys were both speaking about these futures that you described, I saw a lot of confidence in you guys, and you can be more self-assured with thinking of these futures and thinking of more positive things. Do you feel the difference between when you were first talking about your past and now talking about your future? Do you feel something different in you from that?
I definitely feel a little bit more motivated, and just knowing that someone is at least interested to hear how I'm going to progress. And it's kind of nice just talking about it and seeing that change in what I'm saying.
I definitely feel more positive vocalizing my goals and imagining myself achieving them. It means that they are reachable.
Okay. That is a unique outcome.
Alright, so welcome back, you guys. This is our third session, and we're going to be doing re-remembering conversations. So I want you to think of these as two separate words, so remembering and re. So they have a special meaning. It not only means that recollection or being reminded that it's not a passive memory, but an active choice based on your self-identification and your orientation of your future development. And I want you to be encouraged to reunite people and significant others that were a part of your life stories in the past and then previous selves during your story retelling. So I want you guys to tell me a memory from your past when you were using and want it to be a happy memory you can think of that doesn't involve using drugs. Can you guys think of any happy moments?
I can remember hanging out with all of my friends. At the time, we were all using substances, but those activities could have been equally as fun without the substance use, such as just hanging out or going to the movies. So that alone, I can change it to something positive, if it's just removing the substance abuse.
Yeah, I have a daughter that's 2 years old, and she was born during when I was using, and I was the most happiest person when I'm around her, and she makes me want to be a better person and to become sober. So I think of her whenever I want to use, and I use her as my sobriety reason.
Yeah, so as you both said, you can see a positive from your past that does not have to include substance abuse. So you both, you mentioned family and friends. So has your substance abuse broken those relationships? Have you had any contact with them?
Unfortunately, I do not have contact with that friend group anymore. That was another part of my therapy, was to break off that relationship. That was difficult, but it was something that needs to be done. I have revised my relationship with my family.
So I have a lot of substance use in my immediate family. My father and my mother both use, so I was really immersed in them when I was using, because they were able to get me the drugs that I wanted. However, now I know that having a relationship with these people are not healthy and not good for me to stay sober. And so I've learned that while I do want to be with my family, I do want to see them, they're just not healthy for me to be around.
So it sounds like you both have severed those relationships that are no longer going to help you in your sobriety. I want you to continue to see problems with those family and friends, to not go back to those relationships. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to think of somebody that has shown you kindness in your recovery stage, be that a significant other, your friends, family that have shown you kindness and supported you in your recovery. Who that may be. Are you reaching out? Are you talking about who you were in the past before you had started your addiction? Are you remembering those positive moments in your life?
I do have a couple supportive relationships. I have recently moved back in with my parents due to the substance abuse. Our relationship is improving, but when I first moved in, the topic of my substance abuse was really a touchy subject, and we didn't really talk about it. But now that it's been a little while since I've been working on it actively, it is more of a topic of conversation in my home.
My person is my sponsor. I just recently got one, and she's been sober for many years now, and I tell her about my past, and she's able to help me keep up with sobriety and keep up with my goals for the future.
So it definitely sounds like you guys have found meanings in your story. Thank you for sharing today. This is the end of our third and final session. So I want you to continue to reach out to your support groups, reach out to your sponsor. You can reach out to me, and I want you to continue to utilize the skills we've learned in these sessions.